following some breaking news out of the FDA.
The agency has just approved a new, highly effective HIV prevention medication. In clinical trials, the drug nearly eliminated the spread among people given an injection every 6 months. Joining us now with more, NBC News medical fellow Dr. Akshay Syal. So, Dr. Syal, first tell us about this drug and why so many are excited about it.
Hey, Zinkley. So this is a big deal. This just happened moments ago. The FDA approving a twice-yearly injection to prevent HIV, the fatal virus that can cause the disease known as AIDS. And Zinkley, why this is such a big deal? You know, when we see patients who want to take a pill to prevent HIV, what we have to prescribe is something called PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's something that you take, in hopes that if your body encounters the virus, it should be able to stop it. But Zinkley, the big problem with that is it's a daily pill. And the most common complaint I hear from my patients when I prescribe it is, do I really have to take it every day? And so that's what makes this announcement such a big deal. It's a twice-yearly injection, works actually better than the daily pill. And Zinkley, if I may, I'll just read a quote here from a nonprofit HIV advocacy group that told our medical team, quote, "This is the single best opportunity in 44 years of HIV prevention." So a lot to look forward to here.
Wow, that is quite a statement. So how soon could people actually get access to the drug?
So, Kate, a lot of that is still unclear right now, especially with a lot of the governmental cuts that are going on in terms of resource allocation. But what I will say, the next thing is, is it going to cost a lot, right? Is there going to be a lot of copay and deductible coverage with this? And so what we typically see when drugs get approved is that once they get approved, or not until they get approved, is when the FDA or when insurance companies start to weigh in terms of how much the copay is going to be. If they're going to prefer the cheaper generics, the daily pill I was talking about. So a lot of uncertainty still here, but a lot of excitement at the same time.
Hey guys, what's up? So this is the next video, and we're going to be talking about the new HIV cure or prevention that they got going on. Now, I know what it seems like, we're making a lot of leeway when it comes to this situation and just how long it's been around, but I think it is just might be a little bit more than that. And it's really just people trying to use this for profit, and just how convoluted this thing is. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's really complicated. I'm gonna just play some clips for you guys just so we can get a gist of what's really going on and how this might not be what we think it is.
Okay, so exciting. The doctor they go on to interview says passionately that this is better because the current HIV prevention is a daily pill. So people don't take that, they don't want to refill their prescription. Now we can just give them 2 shots a year. That's why it's better. What are the 2 populations, though, that take this, you wonder? Like, why would anyone want an HIV prevention shot? Here's what they don't say, is that the 2 populations that should take it are gay, bisexual, and transgender people, or cisgender women in sub-Saharan Africa. That's weird, right? Like, why these 2 populations? Well, the sad truth is, for one of them, because of promiscuous lifestyle, and for the other is because they get sexually assaulted all the time in sub-Saharan Africa. So it's like, we can't really stop you from getting graped without a G, but we can give you a vaccine that means you might not get AIDS when it happens. Is that better?
Hey guys, how you doing? So I'm glad you watched that clip. This is one of the reasons I like watching that YouTube channel. Shout out to Redacted. They do good work, and this is one of the reasons why I watched them, because honestly they start uncovering a lot of truths that the mainstream media won't cover, and this is why I'm starting to bring this information to you, to try to educate you on just about what's going on. Now, I don't really know anybody who participate in that lifestyle. I kind of just keep to myself. It is what it is. But I'm gonna play another clip of a guy who actually did work in the gay community, and just how toxic or deadly it can really be.
My name is Cass Mann. I'm the founder of Positively Healthy and the chief executive. And Positively Healthy is United Kingdom's only gay men's HIV and AIDS charity. And we're now in our 23rd year of operations. Something I didn't expect I would still be doing 23 years later, because I thought gay men would have learned from the first, second, and third wave of AIDS how exactly to stop it. I will make a statement that might not appeal to everyone, but I will say any gay man getting infected today is getting infected deliberately, because we know the ways to avoid getting HIV. And anyone getting infected has to a certain extent made a choice to not practice safer sex, to not use a condom, to have sex when they are incapable of negotiating safety, such as under the influence of alcohol, recreational drugs, particularly ecstasy, lysergic acid diethylamide, and crystal meth, which is the new major killer on the scene, as well as, of course, the old favorites, alcohol, works every time. No gay man I know takes a drug. They take a whole range of drugs. So what they have is a polypharmaceutical effect, which renders them unconscious. And you add to the mix something like crystal meth or ketamine, special K, and it's lethal. So anyone getting infected today, any gay man getting infected today, has to a certain extent made a decision that it's okay to become HIV positive or even to go on to develop AIDS. Barebacking, they call it, don't they? It sounds romantic. It sounds like some sort of Western, like some sort of Brokerage Mountain scenario. Well, it's not. I've seen people in hospitals shitting their lives away who thought barebacking was a fun thing to do. Today in London, we have clubs specifically for HIV-positive gay men where they can go on a Sunday afternoon. They open about 2. So, different clubs open at different times. And you get 2, 3, 4, 500 people who claim to be positive. And these clubs are called things like Big Bit Plus and various derivatives of those names. And in these clubs, these gay men who are HIV positive or claim they are, you might have buck chasers present as well, those who want to become infected, who have unprotected sex with each other throughout the course of the next few hours. The clubs boast in being alcohol-free, but they are death wish clubs. They are clubs where transmission of HIV, hepatitis B, C, whatever STI is, sexually transmitted infection is going around, is shared by everybody. The goodie bag you leave with at the end of the visit is something you didn't come in with, perhaps. A new strain of HIV. You could get a reinfection, a co-infection, a superinfection. You could pick up hepatitis, which is a killer, B and C. You could pick up syphilis, all sorts of STIs, which in combination with HIV, or even by themselves, are killers. But these clubs are sanctioned. Great Britain's major AIDS charity, Terence Higgins Trust, gives a seal of approval, a hallmark. They call these places play zones. And these places trade because they say, oh, we provide condoms. So we are somehow not complicit in what takes place because condoms are available. And whether or not people choose to use them or not use them is another matter. But to me, that is not exoneration. It is something that is a dereliction of duty when this country's leading age charity says, we will hallmark a venue where unsafe sex takes place, knowing it takes place, and allow new infections to occur. And I puzzled about this. I thought, why is this happening? And then I thought, hey, it's a really simple answer. If AIDS charities, such as including mine, didn't have a regular new influx of HIV-positive gay men, we'd have to close down, wouldn't we? We'd all be out of a job. So what keeps us in work, and hey, I would love to be out of work in this field, is a regular input of newly infected HIV-positive gay men. They pay our salaries, they get us to work in the morning, they make us feel good about ourselves. Because, last year in this country we had over 2,000 gay men who became HIV positive. Why the fuck? Everyone knows how to avoid it. It's no big drama and no big deal to avoid HIV if you're a gay man. In this country we have a law. When you get into a car, you've got to wear a seatbelt. You get into your car, and we had a campaign when seatbelts were launched called Clunk Click Every Trip. And the law was resisted. People said it's against our freedom. It's against our freedom to express our liberty, libertarian. It's a dereliction of all our rights. And so they opposed the law, but it was found to be a very good law. People who wore seatbelts didn't die. Princess Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed, if they'd worn seatbelts, hey, they'd still be here. So why don't we transfer the same intelligence over to the way we have sex? If when we get into a car, we wear a seatbelt to preserve our lives, if every time we fuck, why the hell don't we use a condom? Condoms are not 100% foolproof, but they're better than nothing. So I can't work out why. I mean, I can now, but I couldn't work out why gay men refused to wear condoms. I had to go back to Freud to understand what was happening. Freud's had a bad press, I know, but he said some remarkably astute things. And one of the things I picked up from Freud that to me explained what was happening with gay men getting infected was something he called thanatos, which is a love of death. And in the gay communities, I feel we have moved from eros in the 60s with sexual liberation, love of body, love of sex, love of pleasure, hedonism. And we moved straight from that narcissistic, pleasuring world, not into philos, which is love of your brother, or agape, which is unconditional love, but to thanatos, death wish. I feel it is true, and I have in 23 years found this to be true, having worked with over 4,000 gay men in this time, that we are more attached to death than to life, especially as we approach a certain age. Around about 40 is what the literature, the scientific literature tells us. Gay men feel lives aren't worth living. And I think gradually, as we approach that age, HIV doesn't become a problem because life isn't worth living anyway. And some of the newest infections and the most worrying infections are in gay men now, in that age group. The ones who avoided becoming HIV positive for all those decades and are now succumbing, they're joining the club. It's like they're letting the other shoe drop. I, for instance, have lost all my peer group. I started off, before I started Positively Healthy, running Great Britain's largest gay nightclub, Heaven, and also Great Britain's most notorious nightclub called the Embassy Club in Old Bond Street, which was the glitziest, ritziest club in Great Britain. And every single person I work with there who's gay is dead of AIDS, but it's not just HIV. They were also very heavily into drugs, many of them. And then I think of the people who could still be here because the drugs do work these days. They really do work. Who would be as appalled as I am as to why young men and gay men over 40 are getting infected. Because our love of death has overcome our love of life. And thanatos has overcome eros. And death has become what we worship now. And this is something that is recognized by the AIDS charities that promote venues where unsafe sex happens, because they say, hey, these guys are going to have unsafe sex anyway, so let's make a living out of it.
Yeah, as you can see, he's done work for that community for a really long time. It's a lot of people who just see a lot of, what is it called? They see a lot of opportunity and a lot of atrocities that's going on in this world. If it's not war, it's sickness or it's mental health. I'm pretty sure y'all know. But listen, man, that was just my small clip for today. If you like what I did, leave a comment. If you think I need to work on something, leave a comment. Thank you for just sticking around for the last part of the video. I don't even know if people be watching these things, but I'm trying to get better at this. So thank you, and have a good one.